Chapter 7, Reprogramming. Consciousness returns to Audrey, like the static on the old TV screen with a VH player below, hooked up to the generator before her. Its glow is the only light in what seems to be a barn stall. Her head throbs, and she feels a piercing pain in her arm, where an IV drips clear liquid into her vein. On screen, a younger Deborah smiles with pharmaceutical commercial warmth. "Welcome to Wellness Farm," the recorded Deborah chirps. "Let me guess, you're a strong, independent woman, career-focused, self-sufficient, and yet, somehow, it's not enough, is it? Your cat doesn't care if you land that promotion. Your succulents can't hug you back. You've done everything right, followed every girl boss hashtag, and still feel empty." The video cuts to women in prairie dresses, their smiles eerily synchronized. As Audrey becomes fully aware, she hears heated voices behind her. "This was a terrible idea," Deborah hisses. "The well's running low, and you brought in someone who could expose everything." "But don't worry, here at Wellness Farm, we understand the modern woman's dilemma. You want it all: career, family, purpose. Our program doesn't just promise transformation." Young Deborah gives an exaggerated wink. "We guarantee it." Audrey looks around to see how to free herself, and that's when she sees the UTI pill pack in her ruffled skirt pocket near her right hand. The antibiotics must have prevented the well's water bacteria from impacting her sanity. "You know McKinley's been acting up lately," Stephen retorts. "I figured a familiar face would get her back in line, and we've tested the abandoned well at the back of Matthew's property. His well water tests are even stronger than ours." Deborah continues berating her son. "She has been freaking out because you are pumping her with too much water. You literally do nothing around here, you bootleg cowboy." The screen now shows two women in petticoats reenacting a scene, their smiles unnervingly wide. "Move, you stanky old cow," Woman 1 says in a chipper tone, knocking into Woman 2. "I would love to, beautiful goddess," the other says, grinning as if she's just won the lottery. She steps aside and bows down to the ground, her head to the grass. Young Deborah steps in front of the reenactment, addressing the camera. "Not how today you would react? Don't worry. You will find yourself more happily obedient and content with your life. Even the nastiest people can't stop you from having a perfect day." Audrey stays still, except for her right hand, where she saws at the duct tape with the sharp edge of the ripped pill pack. Stephen's voice joins the argument. "How was I supposed to know too much water would cause problems? And I figured we could kill two birds with one stone with a familiar face. McKinley would start acting normal again, and by getting Matthew a wife, we can access his abandoned well. How would I know that she would bring a filtered water bottle? I mean, this is the United States. It's not like we're in a third world country." The sound of a slap echoes through the barn. "Have you heard of Flint, Michigan? Mama!" he squeals, holding his flushed cheek in shock. Deborah rolls her eyes. "Go check on McKinley, and I'll take care of this," Deborah tells Stephen. As Stephen leaves, Deborah walks back to Audrey, who conceals the broken plastic in the palm of her hand. Deborah pushes on the IV, digging it back into Audrey's skin. As she does, instead of showing pain, Audrey's eyes light up. "Deborah," she chirps, looking around the stall. "I simply love what you've done with the place. I had some little thoughts for my big city job. What are you doing to improve social media engagement rates, SEO optimization, and viral marketing strategies at Wellness Farms? I think my little lady brain could help." "That's my girl," Deborah says, a triumphant smile across her face. "I would love to hear your thoughts, but I have to go handle all the girls you took the IVs out of," she says in an annoyed tone before leaving the stall. Audrey quickly returns to sawing at the duct tape with the broken edge of her pill pack. She thinks of all the times Jessica and McKinley have saved her. From bad dates, from herself, from bouts of depression. Now it was her turn to save them. Finally, she gets her first hand free and quickly rips her other hand free. She quietly sneaks out into the main area of the barn, where Deborah is shoving a needle back into the arm of the dirty blonde girl we saw earlier. Unfortunately, the women see her, their heads all abruptly turn in her direction. "Hi, Audrey," they all say in unison. "How'd you get out of there?" Deborah says. Audrey fixes her posture and looks around frantically. I see mess, she says, looking at the hay strewn across the stall. She spots a pitchfork leaning against the stall wall. And you know what that means. She grabs the pitchfork. It's time to clean. She runs at Deborah, and in one swift motion, Audrey whirls around, swinging the pitchfork with all her might. It connects with Deborah's forehead, sending her sprawling to the ground in the middle of the two lines of women. The women watch, smiling, giggling, and pointing at the scene before them. "You're a psycho!" Audrey screams, not pretending anymore, her voice raw with fury and disbelief. She stands over Deborah, the pitchfork still clutched in her trembling hands. "What is wrong with you? How could you do this to fellow women? You basically turn them into subservient zombies." Still on the ground, Deborah looks up at Audrey, her eyes blazing with conviction. "Don't you get it? I do this for the children. Women are now being so selfish that they're not even having kids anymore. But children deserve everything. Women shouldn't wake up every morning and ask themselves, what do I need? They should ask, what does my family need? That's what we're supposed to put our lives into. Children need a mother who devotes her entire being into raising them. A mother who can teach them about traditional values, care for them, give them a pristine home, and provide for them. In my generation, we did all the house chores, but in yours?" Her voice cracks. "You modern women can do so much more. You can work and take care of the home. You can be a provider and a caretaker." Her eyes are wild with conviction, and Deborah continues, "I do this so that the children can have the best future." "You do this for the children?" Audrey's voice is low and controlled, but trembling with rage. "You think it's good for children, especially young girls, to see their mother absolutely exhausted every single day? To see their mother not have control of her own life and only live to serve a father who has zero responsibility to his family? You think that's good for children?" Deborah cowers, her bravado crumbling. "Please, have mercy. I just want the best for my boy," she whimpers. "We must raise strong boys," Jessica says as the other girls repeat her, nodding in agreement. Audrey looks at her friend, sadness creeping across her face. In a desperate attempt to escape, Deborah grabs a handful of hay and throws it at Audrey's face. As Deborah scrambles to climb to her feet, Audrey's voice cuts through the air, cold and decisive. "We've already passed the Bechdel test, and I've heard enough from you." With a swift, powerful movement, Audrey brings the pitchfork down, its teens sinking into Deborah's neck. The older woman chokes as blood gushes from her mouth, her eyes fixed and unseeing. Audrey pulls out the pitchfork and strikes her again and again, blood spraying everywhere. The barn falls into an eerie silence, broken only by Audrey's heavy breathing. She looks around, blood spattered all over her. The women have stopped what they're doing to stare at her in silence. "Audrey," Jessica says, her voice hesitant, "red is such a good color on you." She smiles. The other women nod in agreement. "Indeed, it's such a good color on her." Audrey rushes to her friend, pulling the ivy from her arm. She goes down the line, doing the same for all the women. "Run," she says, but the women are still under the water spell. "Run," one giggles. "Women don't run, they glide." The women look at each other, giggling and nodding in agreement. They all put their arms out, gliding with one foot and one hand in the air, like Julie Andrews in The Sound of Music. "Then glide out of here," Audrey screams, pointing to the door. Obediently, the women start heading towards the door, gliding with each step. Audrey holds Jessica by the shoulders and looks her square in the eyes. "I'm going to get McKinley. You stay by the gate, and if I don't come soon, go with the other girls." "Okie dokie, artichoke." "The real you would hate you," Audrey says. "Now go," she says, giving her friend a spank to push her towards the barn door. Audrey heads full speed across the lawn, beelining back to the main house. Matthew, sitting on the porch, sees her and stands up, about to speak. "Matthew, you need to get out of here," Audrey says, trying to keep her voice steady. "Is it because I talk too much about astrology? My therapist says I need to stop talking about astrology on first dates, but I've already been on first dates with every single girl who swiped right in a 50-mile radius." He drops to his knees. "I just want to find the love of my life." Audrey rolls her eyes and looks him dead in the eyes. "Maybe you need to stop thinking about what you like to talk about and listen to what your dates have to say." Matthew tilts his head, looking like a confused puppy. I never thought of that. His head tilts in the opposite direction. Are you covered in blood? It's red candle wax. She mumbles, spilled on myself. Sounds like you're a little clumsy, but at least you're not a Virgo. Then his face drops in dread. But we don't have to talk about astrology anymore if you don't like it. Seeing an opportunity, Audrey quickly formulates a plan. She grabs Matthew by the shoulders and says, Listen to me. There's some weird things going on here, and I need you to do something for me. He nods vigorously. She points at the barn. Don't go inside the barn, but outside it, there's a bunch of single women. I'm sure some are Aries, and they need a ride to the train station, a bus stop, or anywhere that's not here. Can you take your car and help them out? Yes, ma'am, he smiles. See, I'm listening already. As Matthew heads off to the group of women, Audrey leans against the house's door, taking a moment to catch her breath. She knows the real challenge lies ahead, confronting Stephen and saving McKinley. She takes a deep breath and pulls the door open to head inside. In the kitchen, she grabs a butcher's knife. Its weight in her hand, a grim reminder of what she might need to do. First, she heads to the children's room. Not wanting to scare them, she leans the butcher's knife on the inside of their door. Walking over to their beds, she lightly shakes each kid, waking them up. Shh, she coos, speaking in a whisper. Now listen. I want you to be very quiet, like you're playing hide and seek. Head outside to where you see Matthew, Auntie Jessica, and a bunch of nice ladies. Stay with them for now, okay? I'll come and join you with your mommy soon. The children nod and obediently leave the room. Audrey wipes her brow, steeling herself for the confrontation to come. She picks up her butcher's knife and heads to the main bedroom. As she opens the door, she sees McKinley struggling to put her IV drip in between her toes. Her garments pulled up, McKinley's arms and legs are covered in track marks and bruises from past insertions. McKinley continues her effort to insert the needle, digging through her own skin, tears pouring down her face. Emotions of fear and happiness violently ripple across her face, her subconscious and conscious clearly fighting within. I'm sorry, honey. I'm just a little tired today. I'm having trouble finding the vein. You can figure it out. It's not like I know how to do it, Stephen says, sitting in a chair, not helping at all. He looks at the gash on her arm from dinner. Maybe just shove it in your big cut? Stephen! Audrey points the butcher's knife at him. I've had it with you. Audrey knows that what she does next will affect everything. Her friends' lives, her own survival, and the fate of countless other women. She pauses, her mind drifting back to their shared past. When we were all single in New York, we did hope to find love, but we didn't want to give up ourselves. Audrey's voice grows stronger and more resolute. And I want McKinley to be happy. But this, she gestures around the room, is not her happiness. This is your happiness. Stephen looks shocked, but then a smile creeps across his face and he starts to laugh. Look at you coming in here all high and mighty. You think having to take antidepressants to get through sending your little emails to provide for your broke boyfriend is somehow better? I'm sorry, you think my boyfriend is a deadbeat? He cooks, he cleans, and listens to me when I have a bad day. He takes care of me and helps me pursue my dreams. I haven't seen you not once help out with anything. Audrey points the knife at McKinley, who still fiddles with the IV. You don't even know how to put the IV in to drug your own wife. Taking the IV from McKinley, he jams it into her cut on her arm. She screams in pain. He stands up, slowly walking towards Audrey. She shifts her weight, still pointing the butcher's knife at him, but nervous at his size compared to her. He slowly walks toward her as he speaks. I have given these women exactly what they want. More energy to help them have it all. These women can now work full-time, cook, clean, and have a family. They can be a boss babe and a subservient wife and mother. I'm not the villain here. I am empowering women. I'm an ally. Audrey's lip wavers, filled with adrenaline and rage. Stephen is nearly at arm's length. Stay back. I'm here to get McKinley and leave. I can't let you do that. She's the mother of my children. He takes another step towards her. She is your servant. Suddenly, a noise comes from downstairs. It's Jessica. Audrey, where am I? And why am I dressed like an American Girl doll? With Audrey distracted, Stephen grabs her wrist, and they struggle over the butcher's knife. Stephen kicks Audrey in the gut. She topples over in pain. The butcher's knife flies from her hand across the room. Now on top of Audrey, Stephen's hands close around her neck. She chokes, unable to scream. You city girls are so weak. You've never worked a day in and out doing manual labor. It's pathetic. And now you think you can come to my farm and take my pretty little wife. Suddenly, his eyes bulge as blood splatters across Audrey's face. She looks up, and McKinley is behind him, holding the butcher knife, which is lodged in her husband's skull. Don't you dare touch my friend, McKinley screams. Stephen topples to the floor. Audrey gasps for air and then looks up at her friend in relief. I've missed you, Audrey says. I've missed you. Honestly, my life's been a blur since I last saw you. Audrey grabs her friend's shoulders. We have a lot to talk about. Let's grab your kids, get in the truck, and I'll fill you in. My kids? 8 of them. 8? I hope the sex was good. Audrey looks over at Stephen. Doubt it. Jessica reaches the bedroom. She sees Stephen with the butcher's knife lodged in his head. Oh my, she says with a gasp. I have a lot to fill you guys in on, Audrey says. They all hug. Perfect Modern Wife is available on Audible, or check back next week for the next chapter. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to let me know and subscribe online. I'm at Kristen Van Nest on all social channels. Thank you!